All right, so we in Amapiano Photoshop. No, not in Amapiano Photoshop. So let's go for inches and then 12 inches by 15 inches. Okay, keep the resolution 300 and let's choose RGB over here because you're gonna display that on the screen. Now let's change the background to black. Let's go ahead and click create. Okay, so the first thing we are going to do is get a gradient background. So we are coming over here, click this guy and then gradient. Now click over here and make it radial, then click here from the presets, from the basics, choose foreground to background, click this guy, come down here, click this guy, and then you select this color. The color code is on the screen, and then come and click this guy right here, and then click over here and then change the color. So go ahead and click OK, and now here when you click and drag, you can move the position of the foreground color. So bring it somewhere here and then go and click OK. Now let's go into our folder and bring our first image for the background. So let's drag that in, drop, resize it to fill the whole canvas. Okay, so now let's change the blend mode to soft light. Then after that, let's come and click on this icon right here. Now grab the brush to make sure the foreground color, when I mean foreground, this guy is right here, make sure the black is on top. Increase your brush size, and anywhere that you click or you brush, you reveal the background color. Okay, so it's like wiping the image to show the background color. Now go ahead and decrease the flow so that it doesn't become sharp, or you actually get to wipe it out little by little. So I think this is okay. Now we need light, so let's go into our folder and bring this image that we got right here. Always remember the link to this source files will be in the description. Make sure you grab that. So I'm going to change the blend mode to soft light and then place this image somewhere. Let me resize that before. Let me place that somewhere here. Okay, so we are good to go, and let's go and bring in our first Amapiano girl. So let's go back into the folder. This lady right here, let's grab that. I got this image from Pinterest, so make sure you check them out. You got cool images on Pinterest. So place it in the middle of somewhere here, and let's go to the layer, right click and then choose rasterize layer, and then let's go to image adjustments, come down, desaturate. Now you have it as black and white. Let's go back and right click on the layer, convert to smart object. Now let's go to filter, camera raw filter. When it pops up, let's come and increase the texture and also increase the clarity. Let's click OK, and you can check the before and after with the Ctrl+Z and Shift Ctrl+Z. Now we are going to apply white stroke around this image. So let's go to the image layer, right click on that, rasterize, and then come to FX, blending options. This pops up, click on the stroke, and over here you can change the size and the color, but make sure you take mine right here. Click OK, go ahead and right click on the same layer, choose rasterize layer style, come back to FX, blending options, and then same way go and click stroke, but this time you are going to change the color and also increase the size a little. Go ahead and click OK, right click on the same layer again, rasterize layer style. Now let's go and click on the adjustment layer and pick exposure. Now increase the exposure a little, and after increasing, press Ctrl+I on the keyboard to invert the exposure. Now go ahead and take the brush, make sure the foreground is white this time because we want to reveal the exposure bit by bit. Now anywhere that you click on the face, the exposure appears. Okay, it pops up. So make sure you click where you want light to be taking place. Now it's okay, so let's go into our folder and bring this grunge image right here. Always remember the link to these source files in the description. Now right click on the layer and then clip it into the exposure. Oh, we have it clipped into the exposure. Let's bring it to the image and then right click, create clipping mask, and also clip the exposure into the grunge. Select the grunge layer and then change the blend mode to lighten. Now with the grunge image layer selected, when you press Ctrl T on the keyboard, you can change the size and the position of the grunge. Okay, so we have this, and of course you can go ahead and tweak the opacity of the grunge. So somewhere this is okay, but I will surely go back and bring it back to 100. But for now, let me place the grunge image somewhere here, and let's bring it back to 100. Now select the layer of the disco light. Select this layer and then go into our folder and bring the same grunge image back. This time we are going to apply the grunge effect on the background. Okay, so you increase that and then click OK over there. Now let's change the blend mode to color dodge. I don't know why I'm still laughing when I said the disco light. Now let's add curves adjustment layer and then input these numbers. So click on the inputs and then change it to 71 and the output 121. Now select the exposure of the girl's image, hold shift on the keyboard and then come and click on the girl's image itself. Come down here and then click on this icon to link the 3 layers together so that it becomes easy when you want to tweak the position of the image. So I think we are done for this one. So let's go and bring in the second Amapiano lady. So let's go back into our source files, bring this girl right here. Let's quickly resize the image and then let's send it back to the first Amapiano lady. So you drag the layer to the bottom of the first lady's image layer and you can press Ctrl T to resize it again. And after that, we'll be going through the same process for the first one that we did. So right click, rasterize, come to image adjustment, then you desaturate the image. The image is too dark, so you'll be adding an exposure adjustment layer. So you select exposure, you increase the exposure a little, but make sure you clip it onto the image. Ctrl I to invert the exposure. Go and grab the brush, make sure the foreground is white. Then you'll be clicking on some vantage point to expose the exposure. So brush over these areas to expose the light. Now don't brush over the whole image, just the face. Now after that, let's select the image below the exposure and then go and bring in the grunge. Let me resize that onto the face or that image and then come and right click and then clip it into the actual image. Change the blend mode to lighten. Now we are going to add strokes, so select the lady's image layer and then come to FX, blending options, and then click on the stroke, and then from here you can change the color of the stroke. Click OK, and then let's go ahead and change the size and click OK. Now you're going to right click on this layer and then rasterize the layer style. So now the next image will be behind the bigger image, so it's better off to select the exposure of the second lady so that when we bring the image of the third lady, it will go behind the first lady's image. So when I drag it in like this and then resize it, right click, flip horizontal, see it goes behind the first lady's image or the bigger image directly, but on top of the second image. So let's click OK over there, then go through the same process. First rasterize, go to image adjustment, desaturate. Now we're going to add exposure, increase the exposure, clip it to the image, Control I to invert the exposure, grab the brush to foreground white, and then start exposing some light on the face, just only the face and some parts of the shoulders. Then after this, we go back and bring the grunge image, resize it and place it on the image. Let's go and change the blend mode to lighten, and then right click on the grunge layer, clip it into the image. Now we are good. So let's select the actual image, go to FX, and then add a stroke. Let's change the color. Click OK, and then let's right click and then rasterize the layer style. Now let's go and create a new layer on top of the curves adjustment layer that we applied on the background right here. So let's click the curves adjustment layer, and then let's create a new layer on top. Then let's go for the gradient tool, and then top here, click here, and from the preset choose basics, and then click the middle one, which is foreground to transparent, and then the first one select black, and then the second one to select black. Now click OK. I'll zoom out a little and then click and drag from outside the canvas onto the canvas to add a black gradient on top of the background. So from here we are going to add an inbuilt coconut tree. So let's go to filter, render, and then choose tree. Now come to the base tree type, click here on number 22. You have the palm tree, and make sure you maintain everything and click OK. Now we have the tree right here, so let's bring its layer on top to the very top. So let's drag it to the top of all the layers, release, and it's done. So let's drag this guy right here. Now we need to bend it a little. So how do we do that? Let's go to edit. Now let's come down and look for puppet warp, not perspective warp, but puppet warp. So we have the outlines over the tree. Now we need to click the bottom here to set a pin over there as pivot, and then click in the middle. Now hold Alt on the keyboard around that pivot, and then drag it around, and you can bend the tree even though you are not a tree bender. So after that, you come to the top here and then click another pivot. You hold Alt on the keyboard, and then you can rotate it and bend it just like this. So after that, you come to the top here and then you click OK. Now let's drag its layer to the bottom on top of the background so that it will be sent to the back of the ladies. And then from there we can resize it and then adjust the position to suit what we want. So I'm going to place it right here. Okay, then after that, I'll go ahead and duplicate this tree. So I'll drag its layer into this plus icon here to duplicate that. Press Ctrl T, send this guy here, right click, and then choose flip horizontal. So let's make small arrangement. And now when you click on the tree, hold Alt on the keyboard and you drag with the mouse, you duplicate the tree. So I'm going to duplicate and rotate that a few times. So if you are watching and you haven't subscribed to my channel, kindly subscribe to my channel. And if you are enjoying this video, give it a thumbs up and leave any comment that you want in the comment section. I'm going to reply. So after duplicating, you click the first or the second tree, and then you hold Shift on the keyboard and you click the rest of the coconut trees. Then you have them selected like this. So when you click and drag both of them to the plus icon, you duplicate them. Ctrl T, right click, and then you choose flip horizontal. Then you drag them to the left. Now whilst you have the duplicate selected like this, hold shift and then click on each of the 3 trees that we duplicated to add them to the selection. Then we go ahead and lower the opacity and then change the blend mode to soft light. Now we have them in the background. So let me bring some rulers to set up some bleeds or margins before we start adding the text. And always make sure to set up your bleeds and margins before you even start your designs in Photoshop and even Adobe Illustrator. Anywhere else, sake of we are not going to print this out. But for your printout works, always set up your bleeds because that's what you cut out after printout. Okay, so that was just by the way. So right now we are going to add some typography. So let's go to the very top of all the layers and then grab the text tool, click anywhere and then type Amapiano. Now the name of the font that we are using is Gemstone. All right, so don't worry, I will leave the link to the source files in the description. Kindly check it out. So let's make some adjustment with the size and the placement. Okay, I think here is good. Now let's click on the first image and go to the layers panel and select the image layer itself, because when you click on the image it selects the adjustment layers on top. So any changes that you try to make, it will affect the adjustment layers instead. So you have to select the actual layer. Okay, so we have it selected and let's come down here and click on the layer mask to add a layer mask onto the image. And then go ahead and grab your brush to increase your brush size a little and then wipe. But make sure you always have the black on top anytime you want to hide portions of images. So you just brush over them and then you're good to go. So after that, I'll click on this girl and then go down and select the layer of the image, add layer mask, grab my brush tool and then hide these portions. All right, then after that, same way, I'll take the move tool, click on the last girl, go and select the image layer, add layer mask and then wipe. Okay, so I think we are done cleaning all the parts of the images that were below the Amapiano type. Okay, now that we are done with that, let's come and click on the Amapiano text layer. Come to the bottom here and then click on FX and then blending options. And from here, just come and click on stroke and then set the stroke size to 10 pixels and then come and change the color of the stroke. Then after that, come here and click on outer glow and then change the color of the glow. And when you finish, go ahead and set the opacity to 82 and then the size to 54% and then spread to 6%. Then go ahead and click OK and grab the text tool again and then type night. Now this time the font that we're going to use is another tag. Okay, the link to the source files in the description, go check them out. Now let's change the size. As for the size, you can use your eye to gauge. Okay, and let's place it right here and go back there and then change the color. Let's shade it a little. Okay, this is good. Now we are going to add glow around this text, so let's go to the blending options. You can come and double click on this empty space on the layer and this pops up, and then let's change the stroke size to 16 pixels and then go ahead and change the color. Now let's go and click the glow and let's give it a color. Now after that, let's make the opacity 64% and then let's change the spread to 1% and then size to 38 pixels and then let's go and click OK. Now we are going to bring in the drums, so let's click the layer below the night font so that when you bring in the image it goes behind the night font. Okay, so let's go and bring the drum, drag that in, rotate that real quick and then place it right here. So let's go and rasterize the layer. All right, then go to image, adjustments, desaturate. Now let's add an exposure, so click on the adjustments and then click exposure, increase the exposure, make sure you clip it to the image, which is the drum. Control I to invert the exposure. You grab your you grab your brush, make sure white is in front or the foreground color is white, and then you start bringing out some light. So after that, just go to the exposure layer and then right click on that, click merge down, or you can press Ctrl E on the keyboard. Now let's go to the blending options, click the FX blending options, click on the outer glow and then set the opacity to 84%, spread to 0, and then size to 90. And then let's go and change the color to green or light green. All right, now go and click OK. Now we are going to duplicate this one to the left, right click, flip horizontal, and then you place it somewhere here, and we are good to go. So right now all you need to do is pay close attention to what I'm about to do. So let's go and select the topmost layer, and then come to the tools panel, right click on the rectangle tool, and then choose the ellipse tool. From there, let's make an ellipse right here. Then on the properties, set the fill to none, and then add a white stroke. Go ahead and change the stroke size. The stroke size doesn't matter, but make sure it's thin and not thick. Okay, so let me resize that a little. And after resizing, we are going to wrap a text around it. So let's go and grab the text tool. And with the text tool, when you hover on the stroke path, you can see that the icon changes. Don't click inside the circle, all right? Click on the line, on the stroke line, and the text wraps around the ellipse, all right? So go ahead and change the size of the font. So the more you decrease it, the more you get more text around it. Then from there, let's go ahead and change the font itself. So let's choose Gemstone, the one we use for our piano, and let's type time. Now highlight the time and then go and change the color to white. And then from there, all you have to do is give a space, like 4 spaces, and then you type time, 4 spaces, you type time, until it goes around the circle. All right, so I'm going to do that real quick. All right, so from here, let's go and select the ellipse layer and then set the stroke to none, and then set the fill color to white for now. And now press Ctrl T and then resize the ellipse, go back and then change the color to green, and you can shade it down a little. Okay, so from here, we are just going to add a text on top. That's the time, so you can type anytime you want on top of that. But as for me, I'm going to paste the time right here and place it on top. Now what's left is pasting. I'm going to paste the rest of the types on this design. Okay, so I've just pasted this guy, the same thing that we did. So go ahead and do that, but make sure you change the one on the left to date, then you put your date on top of that. So the rest is just typography that I'm going to paste on top. And once again, the link to the source files is in the description below. Just grab the link, go to my Telegram channel, and then you grab your resources, then you start designing. And also, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, kindly subscribe to my channel. And if you are finding this video helpful, enjoying this video, give it a thumbs up. So let's continue pasting a few types on the design, and then we are good to go. So I'm going to paste this music. We got DJ, Cypher, DJ Stereo, I don't even know them. And we have performers, freestyle, whatever. And we are going to paste this guy right here, that's 18, blah blah blah, and then paste the organizers that I don't even know or doesn't even exist. All right, so that's all that. Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, kindly subscribe to my channel. If you enjoyed this video, like it, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment below, and I'm out. Peace.